Wait, so today we're doing a deep dive, right? We're going to be looking at an Indian scholar,
Mm.
Radhakamal Mukherjee.
Mukherjee.
And I bet you a lot of people listening probably haven't heard of him, but his ideas are really, really relevant. We have some excerpts from a document all about his life and works. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited to dig into it.
Absolutely. I think we tend to think of these academics as kind of stuck in their ivory tower, but
Yeah.
Mukherjee, he really got out there and he offered a pretty unique perspective
Yeah.
on how society, culture, environment, all of it, how it's all interconnected.
Well, let's start from the beginning, right? So he was born in 1889
Okay.
in it was a small town in West Bengal called Burhanpur.
Ibrahimpur. Okay.
Yeah, and his dad was a lawyer,
Yeah.
pretty well-respected guy in the community too. But here's the thing I found interesting.
Oh.
His dad was also a scholar, a history scholar.
Huh. I wonder how much that rubbed off on Mukherjee. I mean, think about it. A young kid surrounded by all this knowledge, history, law, all of that.
Yeah.
It probably really sparked something in him, planted that seed of wanting to figure out how society works, how it all ticks.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, his work is pretty incredible. He really left his mark in so many areas.
Absolutely.
We're talking economics, sociology, psychology. I mean, he really did it all. But one thing that I thought was really interesting was his idea, right? His idea that society is kind of like a living organism.
Oh, yeah, that's one of Mukherjee's like cornerstone ideas.
Yeah.
He didn't see society as just a bunch of random people, right? He saw it more as a living body, like you said, with all these different parts, and they all they influence each other, like organs,
Okay.
It's a really cool way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can,
no.
can you can you be an example? Like, how does that work in practice?
Okay, think about a city. Okay.
Right, like you or I, we might just see buildings, roads, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But Mukherjee, he wouldn't just see that.
Yeah.
He would see like the transportation networks.
Okay.
He'd see them as veins and arteries, right?
Right.
Like pumping life into the city.
Okay.
And the markets are like the digestive system. They're processing, resources.
Interesting.
And the people are like the cells,
Oh, right.
all working together, keeping the city alive, making sure it functions.
Wow. That's a really powerful analogy.
It is.
It makes you kind of stop and think about how everything is connected. Like we're all part of this big organism.
Exactly. And Mukherjee, he didn't stop there. He went even further, and he tied this whole social organism idea into the natural environment.
Really?
Okay, he was like way ahead of his time. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all talking about sustainability now,
Yeah.
but Mukherjee, he was talking about it like decades ago, talking about ecological balance and how important it is for society to thrive. Wow, that's pretty incredible. So he was really tackling like these complex problems head on.
Yeah.
What about his research? Like, how did he approach all of this?
So Mukherjee, he was a huge believer in interdisciplinary studies. He thought that to really understand society, to really get to the bottom of these problems, you couldn't just limit yourself to one field,
Right.
You couldn't just look at it through just an economics lens or just a history lens. You had to pull from all these different areas, economics, history, ecology. He even used like psychology. He thought that they all had something to offer and he wasn't afraid to use them all.
So that kind of makes sense then, why he was able to come up with like such interesting, theories and ideas. It's because he was pulling from all these different areas.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It gave him a much broader perspective, a much more holistic way of looking at things.
Right. And the document we have, it mentions some of his major works. Regional sociology, the dynamics of morals, and there's the culture and art of India. But I got to say, the one that really grabbed my attention was Man and His Habitation, a study in social ecology.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that book's a classic. It's really where Mukherjee brings a lot of these ideas together. He talks about the relationship between people, where they live and the environment. How cities, how they impact social structures, how they impact the ecological balance.
Yeah.
And today we're really grappling with these issues, sustainability, urban planning, all of that. So this book, it feels incredibly relevant. It's like he was looking into the future.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like how he was thinking about these things so long ago, and now they're even more important today.
Absolutely.
So when you look at, Mukherjee's work, his life, all of it, what do you think? Like, what do you think is his most important legacy? What should we take away from all of this?
That's a great question. I think for me, what really stands out is Mukherjee's commitment to using knowledge to actually solve problems.
Hmm.
He wasn't just content to sit in a library theorizing. He wanted to use his ideas to make a difference in the real world.
Yeah.
And I think he also reminds us that understanding the past, it's not just about, memorizing dates and names. It's about understanding how we got to where we are today and using that knowledge to help us navigate the future.
Right.
And then of course there's that whole idea about interconnectedness. Society, culture, the environment, it's all connected. It's all part of this delicate web.
Yeah.
And we have to be mindful of that if
Yeah.
we want to create a truly sustainable future.
Yeah, those are some really, really powerful ideas. And it makes you think, right? It makes you think about the challenges we're facing in our own communities, in the world, and how we might approach them differently.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I think that that just about brings us to the end of our deep dive. And I have to say, I learned a lot. I hope everyone listening did too. Mukherjee, he was a pretty remarkable thinker.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think his ideas are definitely worth thinking about.
Couldn't agree more.
So until next time, everyone, keep on exploring.
Keep on diving deep.
Thanks for listening.